Shalom, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Wakefulness Theology. My name is Messenger Paula. Today, I did not expect to do a video today, but the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, is just on me. I have all these pieces of the puzzle in my mind, and the only way I can have peace is to try to sort through them. And as I write them down, as I document them in different ways, then I can see outside of my spirit, outside of my body, and it starts to make sense. And this message is so huge, it's so big that I have to come right now and start to explain this. Okay, so what you see on the screen is just my notes, and I'm going to try to explain it the best that I possibly can. Maybe I should start with this. So can you guys see this right here? This says 2022 activation codes. It's my what I'm working on for the new video series. And my premise, what I've been understanding, what I've been working on, is that we have the 5 groups of the hand and the 5 groups of the bridal army. The 5 groups of the hand will be assembling in 2019. Okay. And I don't know if in 2019 they attack or if they're just assembling, but some is going on with that in 2019. What I'm starting to understand, and the 5 groups of the bridal army, we started waking up in 2014 because this is in the Bible. So you have Revelation 19:14 is talking about us, the bridal army, and Revelation 19:19 is talking about the evil ones. So that's 2014 for us and 2019 for them. Okay, so we are called to be a part of the bridal army. There's also people out here who are called to be a part of Satan's army. So who are these people? And what I'm starting to understand is that there are activation codes. So just like when we see these, people are calling them numbers, and we know that they're holy letters of his name, Pi. So when we are seeing the holy letters, this is activating us. Okay, and that's a natural thing that's happening in the universe. But these other people are also getting activated, and they're getting activated by some kind of, they are getting activated by the MK Ultra stuff. And it's embedded in our movies, our TV shows, and all of that. So, and also technology as well. Okay, so they're not only doing this MK Ultra stuff on celebrities, they've been doing it through propaganda all these years. And this whole new children, our new generation who are being raised by TV and music, they are being programmed. So what I understood that I wanted to talk about, that I am going to be talking about in depth, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So this was on my mind. I was starting to put this together, okay, with the 1919. 1919 is a big, important part. So I was starting to put this stuff together. And then I had a dream the same night that Trump, that was December 6th, the same day that he declared Jerusalem the capital of Israel, or said that he will declare that, I received 2 menorahs, okay? And at that night, I dreamed over and over 4.5 years. 4.5 years. I don't want to make this video long, so I will do a series and explain all of this in more depth. So at the moment, just, take it like that. I dreamed 4.5 years. Okay, so now I got all these pieces to the puzzle. Also, there's some people have been saying 717, and I just was like, what is going on? Okay. Now what you see before you, I'm going to try to break it down. It's not easy. I hope you can just bear with me. So I'm watching a video, and the brother is explaining. I'll put on the screen what video it is, so you can see the video if you want. Okay, so Trump. Okay. All right, let me go back. Okay. So a long time ago, I did a video from a sister, and her video is called 777-222-555. And in her dream, I break down her dream and I explain what it means. So I did my interpretation of 777-222-555. But I'm watching these videos and all of a sudden I understood 777-222-555. I knew before, it's like a telephone number. They go together. So, and that's true, what my interpretation was true, but now I even understand a bigger point. It is giving us the timing of these things, just like in the last video I did where I said Yahushua taught me that there was 5 groups of the bridal army, but I didn't know how everyone left and I didn't know when everyone left. And then the last dream the sister gave me in the last video I did, we understood a bit better about the timing. This is the same thing. We understood what 777, 222, and 555 meant, but now he's giving us the timing. Okay. Now, sit back. All right, here we go. 777. So Trump, he was born 700 days before the reestablishment of Israel on May 14th, 1948. Okay, so the United Nations partition plan for Palestine happened on November 29th, 1947. So I guess this is 700 days before that. I didn't fact check him, so someone else can fact check him, but I just know I feel it in my spirit. So the days of Noah started in 1948. Now this comes from the Bible Code video. And that's when stuff really started coming together for me in my mind. Right here. This video right here, Bible Code Research, the 2 sticks. This is where it came from, that information. And he was talking about 2 sticks made 1 Bible code. Now, what got me to watch the video was the 2 sticks part, because I had just received the 2 menorahs. Okay. Now, this 2 menorah thing, it keeps coming up because I talked to a sister just last night. I talked to Sister LaShonda just last night, and the first thing she said to me was, do you have a menorah? We were doing text messages, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then we had the conversation, and she said she had an open vision about 2 menorahs, okay? And she also told me about the wave, and she said that the wave that I'm talking about in my other videos is a rock. I think that's what she said. Sister LaShonda, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that it was something thrown in the ocean like a rock. And that I know is true too, because it's hard for me to put all these pieces together for you guys because it's in my mind. But I saw a movie once, and it was a movie about Yahushua, and he threw a rock in a bucket of water. In the movie, it was just a silly scene. It was nothing important, but I recognized that right away as the meteor that's supposed to fall, wormwood. Okay, so that's what she was talking about. She was talking about Planet X, LaShonda, and wormwood, and that being the cause of the wave. And I knew what she was saying was true because she's had the open vision of the 2 menorahs. And I've never spoken to this sister before, so all of this is building in me, right? So when I saw this video and it said the 2 sticks, it was in my mind because the 2 menorahs, and it's like the 2 candlesticks, like the 2 lamps, right? So when I watched his video, that's where this information came from. And so the days of Noah started in 1948. I know it's true. So 70 years and 7 days later, Trump won by 77 votes. And Trump, 70 years old and 70 years, 7 months and 7 days, was his first full day in office. And I know that's true because I remember hearing it when it happened. And, we're all talking about the Daniel 70 week. So pretty much, guys, listen, Daniel's 70 week will be over on April 19th, 2018. Where is that on my paper? Right here. April 19th, 2018, it represents 1 generation and 70 years. This is the end of Daniel's 70 week. I know that because I had the voice tell me the night that my cousin died in 2015, My cousin died in January, and it said in 12 weeks the bad man comes, and then 12 weeks from the night that he died was April 19th, and that is the day that Trump became the Republican nominee, or he had the New York speech where he accepted the nomination, or he won New York. I don't remember, but that happened. That big thing happened on April 19th. So that happened on April 19th. And I know that is true because the voice gave me that date, right? Also about this April 19th, 2018, Daniel 70 years thing, Sister Rebecca from the YouTube group, she had her mother pass away, and she heard distinctly a voice saying something like, "This generation shall not pass," or something like that. So that was also sticking in my mind as well. On the same night that my dog just died, my dog son. Here's Snoopy, and he was 17 years old. God bless his soul. He was born on January 1st, 2001. He died on Sunday. So it was like, I think Trump announced on Monday or something like that. So it was the day after my dog son passed, and he was 17 years old. So all of these messages happen around death, So I did have a death, and Sister Rebecca's mother had just passed when she got that message about this generation shall not pass. Okay, so let's keep going forward. So that's what that is. So as soon as I saw this 777, I knew it was the 777. The 777 that we're seeing, right? Because all of these numbers, holy letters, they don't mean just one thing. They mean so many things. And I knew it. So then I was like, okay, let me go back. I remember that I saw on True News years ago that there was a man who had a message from an angel. An angel came to him. He could see the angel. He talked to the angel, and the angel told him about the 7 years of change that were going to happen, 777. Okay. Now, when I heard this message on True News, I knew it was true because I had gotten the same message. It wasn't exactly the same. I had gotten it in a different way.
I believe it. Yes, sir. Hey, listen, I want to find out, this is why I invited you on this program is because I was told that in 2001, you had a visitation by an angel of the Lord who gave you an outline of things that would happen over 21 years. Is that true?
Yes, it is, Rick. That's very true.
I want to hear it.
Okay, yeah, and by the way, you can read this on my website, and there's other places that have it in some detail. In December of 2001, starting the 10th day and going through the 14th, the angel Gabriel actually came to me, and over, not the entire days, but over the next few days of that time frame, visited with me several hours per day and talked about, starting in 2008, so this was December of 2001, what would occur from 2008 basically to 2028, and he divided that, Rick, into 3 7-year time frames, in which he then spoke about each 7-year time frame and what would be the predominant issue of each 7-year time frame. The first being economic from 2008 to 2000, and basically 14, 15, the time frame we're in now. And then beginning in 2015 to the 2021 time frame, and then on to 2028. So it was divided into issues of first 7 years would be predominantly economic. Gabriel told me that 2008 would be the beginning of economic sorrows in our nation and in the world. That's what he said. It was the beginning.
And we know, Rick, Terry, were you on record in 2001 stating that in 2008 there would be the beginning of financial woes?
Yes, that was recorded and then put out.
All right, so the angel told you in 2001 that there would be a 7-year period of economic shakings starting in 2008 and ending in, 2014?
Yeah, 2014-15 would be a transitional year. I knew that because of what Gabriel had said about the time frame and what would be then combined, Rick, would be economic in the next 7 years, governmental. And this would be worldwide, but it would include our nation. Gabriel told me that the great economic wealth of our nation would be neutralized. That's how he said it.
And I just knew it was true. It was confirming what I had already knew. So he was saying, from the angel that said that from 2008 to 2015 is going to be economic change. From 2015 to 2022 is going to be economic and governmental change. And now Trump arrived on April 19th, 2015. When I say he arrived, meaning people started taking him more serious than before, right? He was a legitimate, serious candidate for president at that point, on that day. Okay? So, and that is 7-year period. And then from 2022 to 2029, 2030, because we have to go from April to April, the change is supposed to be dealing with government change and one world religion. Okay, so now we know that this is true because we've lived it. We had the economic collapse here. Here, now we have pretty much, we're nearly going to have a revolution in our country. You know, Democrats and Republicans, that's not my president and all of that kind of stuff that's going on. And we know with the AI and how it's going to completely change our world. And I don't know how many of you know it, but there is a thing going on with Trump and the Vatican, and that somehow, I have no idea how, but that is opening the door for this one world religion stuff, you know, including the terrorism that's going on with the Muslim religion, false flags, or whatever it is. All of this is starting to set up this point here. So this, I saw 777. So I knew right away that this was connected to this. Are you guys with me? So what I'm saying is, this is the 7-7 beginning of the hand, which started with Obama. I was just talking about that in 2 videos ago, and I was saying we're looking for the leader of the hand, which is the Prince of Persia, but they are all working together. They are all leaders, right? These people I mentioned in the last video. So the 777 is the beginning of the hand, started with Obama. And in 2019, Satan's army assembles and prepares attack or attacks. I don't know if it's the preparation of the attack or if it's the actual attack, and that comes from Revelation, as I said before, Revelation 19. Okay, so as I said, that comes from Revelation 19. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. All of these, everything that exists in this world has 2 meaning. It has the meaning of light, which is Yahushua and the Father, and it has the dark meaning that Satan and his people have co-opted, who have taken, right? And somehow they've managed to take everything that was good and inverse it and turn it upside down and use it for bad. Okay, so the 777, I said already in the video what it means for us. We know the good side of 777, but here it's the hearkening to the end, right? In this meaning here. So his group 2019 assembles in 2019, the hand, and they're all helping each other. You know, it seems like they're enemies, but they're not enemies. This is all working together for the bad. And I'm going to do the video on 1919 to even illustrate it better. So whoever turns out to be the leader of this situation, the Prince of Persia, he's called the Prince of Persia in this in the Holy Letters. He becomes King of Persia in 2022. Now I know that because of the letter lines, right? So I thought we were in Revelation 12:6 this year. Revelation 12:6. The bad man comes, Ezekiel 37:16 from the Bible Code, April 19th through 20th, 2018. Because in Hebrew days, it goes from nightfall to nightfall. So a Hebrew day is April 19th, nighttime, to April 20th, nighttime is, you know, the 20th, because he said it starts on the 20th in the Bible Code video. But it's actually in a Hebrew day also the 19th. So this right here, and the woman fled into the wilderness where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. This because of here. I thought that was this year in 2017, but on December 6th, when Trump announced about the Jerusalem thing, I had the dream about the 4.5 years and understood that I was off 1 year. So actually, Revelation 12:6 starts on April 19th, 2018, which represents one generation, 70 years. I hope you guys are with me. Okay? The 70-year, Daniel 70-year thing is over April 19th, 2018. Okay, and this is because of the Ezekiel 37:16, which is encoded in the Bible code.
In the days of Noah. 5708 in the days of Noah is encoded along Ezekiel chapter 37 between verses 5 and 6. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We have been in the days of Noah since 5708 or 1948. That is your answer to Matthew 24 about how long a generation is and when the days of Noah started for our time frame. Come Yar 5/5778 or April 20th, 2018 is which the day it lands on this year. It will be 70 years. Verse 8 and 9, you see where it says breath and wind. It's actually talking about the Ruach, the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so that brings me to 222, because if I started to understand that this 777, it is representing time, okay, and it's also representing Trump right here. So then I was like, well, what is 222, right? Because of the sister's dream and because of everything that was happening back in the day. So 222 until 2024. Planet X water event. This 222 represents doubleness. On one hand, there are tribulations, trouble, destructions, and vengeance on those who don't know God and unbelievers. But on the other hand, rest and glory for saints. This can be represented inside and or outside of you. Matthew 24:20-22, and that is the 222 again. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days be shortened. Okay, now this is exactly the verse that Sister LaShonda was saying over and over to me last night when I was talking to her. And she was helping me to understand that the water event. Now, what I'm saying is that there is something that happens in 2019. I know the Satan's army assembles. Now, is there like a bomb, or is there, something that happens? There may be something big and terrible that happens. But this water event that we're talking about, as far as like the rapture event. Now, again, we have to be careful with the word. It's not, people have been calling this a rapture event, but it's not actually a rapture event. It's a water event where a group of us are going to leave. So this is, I'm feeling like the message is that this is Planet X. Okay, this is Planet X, guys, that is bringing this water event in 2022. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because everything I'm doing, all of the timelines, everything is adding up to 2022. So for example, okay, so you have 777, that's the 777 with here, everything I explained here. And so for the 222, you count from 2022 because that goes up to right here to 2022. And then you add 2 years and you get 2024, right? And then from 2024, you add 5 years and then you get 2029 or 2030. So this is April to April from 2029 to 2030. So you have the 7 years from 2008 to 2015 when he arrived here. And then you add 2 years and you get 24. And then you add 5 years and you get 2029, 2030. So it's the same. Here, 2026 to 2030. Okay, so let me explain this. This right here is, if you guys have been following me, I was doing a timeline. And on my timeline, I had written in the past that we were in Revelation 12:6 right now in 2017. And because of my dream with the 4.5 years, I realized that I was 1 year off. So now this, I put 2018, right? So what I'm saying is that with this timeline that I have already told you about in other dreams, it also finishes at the same time. It finishes here in 2029, 2030. Okay, that's the Revelation 12:17 and the John 21:28 comparison that I was doing. Now, John 21 continues to hear what I consider 2033, 2034. And this is when I believe that all of the 5 groups will have left by this time. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, "Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuseth them before our God day and night." So what Sister LaShonda was telling me last night, and which I've already known in my spirit, but it was a confirmation for me that this dragon is Planet X. Okay, it shows up here in 2022. And what shall this man do? What shall this? At the same time, I think it represents more than one thing. It's also the Planet X, of course. It's also the King of Persia. But here, when we go down for 2026, right here, because this is the 222, the 777-222-555, and what happens, the 555 at the end of that, you have 2025. So here on 2026, the end of the 777-222 and 555, you have on the timeline that I was already working on, Revelation 12:14, which matches John 21:25, which both represent 2026. And this is the verse where it says, "And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time, for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent." So this is where we escape. So what I'm telling you is that the timelines that I've been doing, you can go back and look at my old videos for a while. I was comparing them with Troll Hunters. I was comparing it with Lord of the Rings. I was comparing it with the Bible. I was comparing it with my letter lines. All of those timelines match up with this 777, 222, and 555. And all of them are ending with the 2029, 2030 timing. They all are pointing to this kind of escape or something happening at this point right here, the 2025, 2026. And as well, on the group, people, we were talking about 717, that we're seeing 717. So I've been trying to decode that for a couple of days. And when I had understood that this 777, 222, and 555 represents time, I did the same thing. So 2008, we're going to start with that because it was 7 years after 9/11. It was when we had the economic collapse, and that's when Obama came on the scene. That's when everything started, right? Since the 9/11. So 2008 plus 7, it gives you 2014. Plus 1 gives you 2015. And then plus 7, and it gives you 2022. So that's 717, right? 7 years plus 1 year plus 7 years. And again, it's from April to April. So that can go from 2021 to 2022 or 2022 to 2023. But the point is that it still is in 2022 at some point. So this is just confirming the timeline. So this Planet X, I found a video, and the guy is saying, I just looked online and I just typed in Planet X 2022, and then this popped up. So I'm going to play this video from I don't know what time, and he's going to explain why he thinks it's 2022. I don't know what to expect. I really don't know. What I know is that we're receiving messages, and I'm trying to interpret the messages we're receiving. And my interpretation of the messages we're receiving is this information. Now, what does this actually mean in real life? Like, is there actually going to be this Planet X that arrives and causes this tsunami event that takes out one group of the Bridal Army? And then does it actually mean we're literally going to go through some kind of dimensional door and be safe from whatever is going to be happening at this time? I don't know, guys. I don't know how this works because it's supernatural. So how can we imagine a supernatural thing happening in real material life? I don't know. But these are the pieces to that puzzle. This is what this means. Okay, so that's it. If you like to stick around and see the video where the guy is talking about Planet X in 2022, enjoy. Like I said, I really don't have any idea what's going to happen, but these are the pieces to the puzzle, and maybe together we can understand as time goes on. So please leave comments, join me on Facebook group, and let's work together so that we can hear clearly the messages that Yeshua Hamashiach is giving us, okay? Because this is important. He wants us to know. He wants us to know. So let's work together and figure this thing out, okay, brothers and sisters? I love you in Yeshua Hamashiach's holy name. I pray this in his name, for his glory and for his honor. Have a good day, saints. Shalom.
This is from the Sleuth Journal, Daisy Luther, and this was from January 15th, not quite 2 weeks ago. Did you know there was an asteroid closer to us than the moon? Okay, so here's some relevant news, because this asteroid was about 110 feet across, and had it struck a major city, millions of people would have been dead within a second. And it's always unnerving to learn that there was a giant hunk of space rock flying so close to Earth that you almost needed to duck. Like the asteroid that did a flyby at just half the distance between the Earth and the Moon on Monday of this week. Unlike the movie Armageddon, we may not have enough warning for Bruce Willis and friends to get on a rocket and go blow it up before it hits us. Monday at 7:47 a.m. Eastern Time, an asteroid passed by Earth at about half the distance between our planet and the Moon, roughly 119,500 miles. The space rock, dubbed 2017 AG-13, was on the smallest size as far as asteroids go, though they thought it was up to 111 feet. Now here it is here, but the most interesting thing about this near miss is that astronomers didn't spot the space rock until Saturday. Now, I've been around for a while. I'm 52 years of age, have had an interest in space and aerospace ever since I was a kid. My dad was in the Air Force. And whenever, up until the last couple of years ago, whenever a comet or an asteroid was discovered, they were always discovered at least 10 years, sometimes 20, 30 years before they came close to the Earth. And then in the last 2 or 3 years, dozens of asteroids and comets are discovered only days or weeks away from coming near the Earth. Now, this is a very important report from CNN. Take a look and take a listen to this.
You to vote on the news, and here's the winner. There's a huge, hidden, heavenly body right here in our solar system. Evidence is mounting that either a brown dwarf star or a gas giant planet is lurking at the outermost reaches of our solar system, far beyond the planet Pluto. According to the British newspaper The Independent, the object is 4 times the size of Jupiter. Experts say the presence of such a massive object could explain why a barrage of comets has been coming from that direction.
Okay, so he just said that Planet X is true, and that is the reason why comets and asteroids are being pushed in the direction of the Earth in unprecedented numbers without much warning in advance. There you have it. Planet X is real, and it's the reason why these asteroids and comets are being pushed toward us. Now, gravity, don't want to get into too much of an argument here, but it's really a curve in space more than it is a force. It's like when you drop a pebble in a pond and it ripples out, those ripples really go ahead of the rock. So basically, gravity is like a wave, and so it pushes just as much or maybe even more so than it really pulls. Meaning if Planet X is heading toward Earth, it will push like those ripples in the pond. It will push comets and asteroids out of their normal orbit toward Earth, and that's why they are happening in increasing numbers with less warning. And now here's an executive order only from a few months ago. It says that it is to prepare the nation for space weather events. Okay? So we just have CNN saying that Planet X is real. It's the cause of comets and asteroids coming toward Earth with unprecedented frequency and with much less warning than has been in the past. And here's an executive order saying that the nation needs to prepare for space weather events. Remember that asteroid that Daisy was talking about was only about 100 feet across, but had that hit a populated city, millions of people would have died within a second. That's pretty incredible. And here's an article just from the 17th of January, about a week or so ago. Why has the White House suddenly released a strategy for dealing with the threat of a catastrophic meteor impact? Does the White House know something that the rest of us do not? As the Obama administration draws to a close, the White House has suddenly released a major document that details a multi-pronged strategy for dealing with the threat of a catastrophic meteor impact. So again, if you see your neighbor, even though it's sunny and there's no clouds, and you see your neighbor putting on rubber boots and a raincoat and bringing an umbrella, you might think, oh, maybe it's going to rain. And as the White House and these two recent documents are preparing for space weather events, and now saying specifically for asteroids and comets, they are getting ready because these things are predicted to happen in the future. Now, while we'll link, of course, in the description of this video, the article I wrote, which has a lot of great links at the end of it, Planet X, the Ultimate Tribulation. And we have just acknowledged that Planet X is real and that it's going to cause comets and asteroids to come to Earth in unprecedented numbers. Here's an artist's depiction of how big Planet X would look over the horizon, causing catastrophic tidal waves. As you can see, they're depicted on the city of San Francisco. Here's a quote from the Bible, from Jesus. "In the last days," which a lot of people believe we are in, "there will be a great tribulation, unequaled in all of world history. Unless those days are shortened, no one will survive. You know, people have often interpreted this to mean, well, it must be a nuclear war. What else could cause, global destruction? Planet X. You see, the theologians aren't taking that into consideration. They assume only, nuclear war could cause devastation around the globe, but they're wrong. Space weather could cause that. Let me go through here just to give you a couple of more quotes here from the Bible. It says, there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts melting from fear and expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. You see, Planet X is estimated to be around 40 times larger than our moon, about 7 times or greater than the earth. And if something much smaller, the moon, causes tidal effects, you can imagine the great, international tidal effects of maybe the waves coming in, miles farther than they normally do. It says right here, out of the mouth of the Messiah, the seas and the waves roaring, and men's hearts melting from fear of what is coming upon the earth, and that the power of the heavens will be shaken. So this is a great warning. You can read this article. I'll have it linked in the description. And then we have, I have to read this again, Janet Napolitano, the day she resigned, she said, a natural disaster, the likes of which the nation has never seen, is likely on its way. Okay? A natural disaster, the likes of which the nation has never seen, is likely on its way. Well, what natural disasters has the United States never seen? We've seen volcanoes, we've seen earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes. The only natural disaster our nation has never experienced is something from outer space, a comet, asteroid, or Planet X. It's also the only natural disaster you could predict years in advance because of the geometrical position of the stars, constellations, and the movement of these heavenly bodies. You could predict their trajectory down to probably the minute. So again, I'm going to link this article in the description of the video. And then having to do with the timing, if Planet X is real, if there's going to be these signs in the heavens that both scientists and the Bible say. Now, when the Bible and science agrees on something, I think there's a virtually 100% chance that these things are true. And so Planet X, more and more scientists admit it is real, causing unprecedented comets and asteroids, and the Bible talks about the signs in the heavens. So both those things are lining up together. Now the question is, when? When would Planet X potentially happen? I had a lot of suspicion that it would be this year, 2017. One thing that kind of caught my eye is the government from decades ago has put 2017 as this far-off goal when we're going to get our act together. Like, for example, 25 years ago, they said, okay, we're going to release the Kennedy assassination files in 2017. And you can read here, it says the tortured path that began with a left turn onto Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, 1963, will find its unlikely endpoint this October. As National Archives, it says the remaining documents, I'm kind of skipping ahead here. It says, here's the really interesting part here. It says, under the terms of the 1992 JFK Records Act, a result of Oliver Stone's movie. Now think about this. They were only pressured into releasing files about JFK after an artistic filmmaker made a movie about it with so much facts that the citizens pressured the government into releasing it. Now this is an article by Time magazine. When they asked the CIA or the FBI about these files, they refused comment. And that's the Time magazine, not just some conspiracy theory. So not only is 2017 the year they picked far into the future at that time when they'll go ahead and tell the truth, there's also 2017 congressional reform. There's 2017 when we're finally going to have, clean emissions and good mileage of cars, you see? And so that made me think, well, maybe 2017 is the year. My other guess is because of a friend, a military source in the intelligence community said that the year was 2022. Now, I haven't really researched this particular article, but I will link into it. They said 2022 also. I'm not sure what their sources are. It's allegedly, done by the anonymous group. I'm not for or against them. I don't know much about them, but they had said the year 22. So we have this one source saying 2022. I have an absolute confirmation from someone in the government, in the intelligence community, who said Planet X was coming in 2022. So I don't know. There are a lot of people who said that President Obama was going to be the last president. He was going to stay in office through emergency powers. The elections weren't going to happen. None of that came true. Here we have, the 45th president sworn in. Things seem to be going along fine. Now, that doesn't mean nothing's going to happen in 2017. Who knows? But my personal guess is it will either, show up now or nothing will happen until 2022. That's just a guess. I do believe the likelihood of Planet X being real is at least a 1/3 chance. And seeing how, when you go out in your car and drive, you have a spare tire. Even though the chances of having a flat tire, probably 1 out of every 1,500 trips in the car, you'd be kind of foolish not to have a spare tire and a jack. I think there's at least a 1/3 chance, maybe greater, that Planet X is real. The government's preparing for it. They're gradually leaking out this information so that they can won't appear as if they've kept it a secret when finally the stuff hits the fan. So I think we have to understand that if Planet X is real, it's a lot more important than whether or not a wall is going to be built or whether foreign aid is going to be started or stopped for the particular country or whatever political agenda about raising or lowering taxes. This is something that's going to affect the entire world. Some people have estimated that if Planet X is real, which I believe there's at least a 1/3 chance that that is true, that it would kill half the people on the earth because of global climate changes, tidal waves, earthquakes, meteor showers, and things like that. So I think that is, a worldly event worth reporting, much more significant than politics, and certainly it affects the mortality of the most people on the planet, and of course that affects their eternal destiny. So lastly, let's focus on that just a little bit more. This is from James. It says, "You adulterers, don't you realize that friendship with the world makes you an enemy of God? I say it again, if you want to be a friend of the world, you make yourself to be an enemy of God."